So, how was everybody's week? Everybody feeling okay?
I've had a good week. I've had a couple. Wait, this is how you want me to talk like that?
That's
right?
how you've been talking.
That's how
You can talk however you want.
You want me to get really low and sexy? But no,
That'll be my thing. So
I've had a good week. Mostly, I've had a couple incidences. We're going to talk about that in a later show, though, because
Yeah, I added a couple of things to our angry list this week as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
Matt heard one of mine today on the car ride in, but I'm going to save it. 'Cause
How about you, Matt? How was things for you?
my
Not
week
not
was
much
alright.
makes you angry, so
No,
let's just see.
It was busy, but it was all right otherwise. I didn't. No, I mean nothing really made me angry this week. I would say.
We didn't think so.
really? Even the other night?
Surprised.
No.
Right? Okay.
I like that kind of stuff actually.
It wasn't angering you that
That's
you
it,
didn't get
no.
it done?
Matt likes when things don't work.
I guess so, because I
He's
was
an
angry.
expert on when things don't work.
Yeah.
nobody likes
Was,
that. Really.
was it angering you that I was falling asleep while you were doing it? Was that not angering you
No,
either?
I just felt bad for you. I want you to just go to sleep.
Matt's like a 2 o'clock. Are you sleeping? I'm like, no, I'm not sleeping.
How about you, Mike? I'm sure something made you angry this week.
It was all right. It was relatively busy at work, which is never great. But worse than that was on, I think Wednesday or Thursday night. I got two in the mail. I got two things. I'm getting on my own insurance now, as well as I had some credit card. Either I don't know if it was whatever. Something I had to fill out for my credit card. And I'm sitting there filling out this insurance paperwork that's like 12 pages long, and the whole time I'm just thinking, I'm like, I've done this before a million times at every doctor's office. I don't understand how. I mean, over the course of my life, how much hours I've spent, and I'm only 25. I haven't been doing a lot of this, like doctor stuff. That's a big parent thing and whatnot. How much hours I've spent just doing that? That seems like the dumbest waste of time to me, personally.
That sounds okay. So that sounds like something we could dive into, right? Paperwork in the 21st century, because I agree.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of paperwork out there. Again, I always go back, like when I was younger. Paperless society basically is what they were aiming for, right? I know in the business I was in, they were aiming for paperless, and they never got there, right? Everything still gets stored. There's still paperwork that gets passed around.
I think there was a stall in that. I remember. I know that was a push.
Yep.
In the corporate world before I was
For
involved
sure.
or anything. But I think it just kind of reached a level where like we got rid of enough of it, and we're sort of at a happy. I just don't seem like there's. It doesn't feel like there's still
they
this
got it.
ongoing.
They got
push
rid of
for it.
They got rid of
Beyond
enough
banking.
of-
I think banking they're still doing that every day. They're trying to get away from cash.
They got
But
rid
as
of
far
enough
as like paper, yeah.
Yeah.
so that they could build paper straws and not really run out of paper, I guess. Anyway,
Well, they're gonna cut down the trees, so they gotta do something. with
Yeah,
it.
no, the paperwork is out of control. I mean, what's been your experience, Johnny?
Well, going off what Michael said, like all the paperwork you're filling out, but yet I can go search him on the internet or anybody else, and all that information's there already. So why do you have to keep filling it out for these things? It makes no sense, really. Honestly,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it angers me every time I go someplace and I got to fill out information because yes, like it's funny. You go to a retail store like a J.C. Penney or a Macy's or something, and they're like, you want to sign up for a card? They
I was
need
just
one piece of
thinking that.
information. Give me your social
Your
security.
Social
That's it.
Security, that's it.
It
That's
goes through. It does a credit check.
Yeah.
It gets everything they need.
Yep.
Right. But you go every time you go to a doctor, you got to fill out 10 pieces of paper that you filled out the last time.
it's ridiculous.
Right. Instead of one question on the page that says, did anything change? Right.
Yeah.
And there's two sides of it. Right. There's two sides because centralizing the information, I guess, is a fear for some people. Right. They don't
Right.
want their information centralized. But to me, I'm like, all of that information, like medical stuff, it could be safely stored.
But
and
it
should
is
be
already.
common knowledge for medical professionals.
But isn't it
right?
already
It
centralized?
must be somewhere.
Because
stored,
like
you do have medical records.
they go back, like especially a lot of like medical places are all affiliated with each other now. So when you look up, like when you go to a doctor and they look up your record, they see all the other past things. They're like, oh, you were here for an ingrown toenail or whatever.
Right.
So like
Right.
they
But-
have this information.
I mean, they do, but I don't know, like, if you cross over from one to another, right?
Healthcare,
Not healthcare, but
provider,
Provider.
yeah.
right? Because, there's different,
Yeah.
they got different pockets.
Yeah, they share
right?
it too. I
Do,
bet.
do they share?
I
it?
think they do.
I bet they do.
But they do.
But yet you still got to fill
I
out
mean,
the 10
you know what I
pieces of
found
paper.
out? This is sort of, it's not actually, paperwork or whatever, but just thinking of it now as we're going through this. I found out, and maybe this isn't true. I was just told it, so, you guys can chime in, but whatever. that you know how they ask you every time you go to the doctor, or at least for a checkup, or I think it happens almost every time, regardless. They'll say, "Do you drink or smoke?"
Yes, of course.
Right, and then I always thought
It's for insurance purposes.
I thought you were supposed to answer because they care, like because it would help them.
Care. They don't
I
care.
mean, not that like I thought they cared in, like about me.
Nope.
I just meant like I thought
Nope.
for an accurate
Nope.
diagnosis, whatever it is, that they would want to know. And then I
They
find I
don't
was
give
like,
a shit.
I was talking to one of my buddies, and they were like, "Oh no, that's just for like always say no. They'll
Always.
just up your insurance." I'm like, "Are
Yeah.
you kidding me?"
It's for insurance, and also,
How-
it
that-
goes back to what do you call it? Life insurance too.
Insurance.
Because if you connect it to that,
That's for
I
sure.
You're
can't
right.
believe it's insidious that they slip it in like that.
It's a
like
little
as if it's
scam.
for you.
they don't care.
You know? I mean, I never was under the assumption that they like really cared about me. You know what I mean? I'm just like a customer at the end of the day. But I did think it was part of the.
Did you ever?
You know, when they're building a profile for your physical.
Did you ever wonder at the end why they
if you're
don't go?
healthy.
Don't say anything positive. Like, oh, that's great. No, they don't care.
I guess that bugged me, but sorry. Back on topic. You know, with it's not even. It is a lot of the actual paperwork and filling things out, which I don't like doing. It always seems like this more than needs to be done, and a thing I've done
very
before
redundant.
that is at some on some. I mean, even to the point where I give them an ID, no matter where any of this happens, right? Whether it's, you know, insurance or whatever, they have my ID in some aspect. Even if I'm giving them my social security number, right? They know who I am. My address is on that. Like, if they have to ask, you know, is it up to date? I guess,
That's the only
right?
thing.
I guess. But then I already gave you my ID, so if it's not, I'd have to fix that too. You know, but my bigger issue is I feel like there's a general. I can't think of the right word for it, but like this clerical work that we have to do in our lives that adds to like this overwhelming sense of like anxiety. I feel like in my daily life.
I agree.
Right, like, because it's not even filling stuff out. I mean, car registration, just all these little things, these pieces of paper in your life that are important.
Yeah.
That you need to keep somewhere, but that are not really day to day. They don't matter. You know, I mean, birth certificate, right? You just keep it in a file somewhere. How often does it come up? You know, but it's this thing that is like kind of given to you at some point. It's like, this is your whole life. Take care of it. And it's like this weird thing that goes on
Yeah.
No, I know.
in
Again,
modern life.
I go
like.
back to like medical stuff because even insurances, that just, I mean, I can't even keep up with the insurance stuff.
It's just the way it works,
And-
even.
and
Not
it
even
feels-
filling it out,
yeah,
just the way it is.
It's baffling to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's confusing. You always got to sign something, fill something, pay something, and then I get paperwork back that never explains exactly where my money, like where
Wait,
my
wait,
money
I mean,
went,
you're
where
saying
my
that-
coverage paid.
What blows my mind with what you're saying is like, so recently for a dentist, right? You called, they made a totally new dentist, right? So I went for a dentist. They asked me my insurance, and they ask you the million questions, like you're saying, and then they're like, "Yeah, you're covered." This and that, and they call to make sure and they're like, "Yeah, you get 2 cleanings a year, 4, whatever it is." So I go to the dentist. I have all this stuff done. 2-3 days later, I get a bill in the mail. And I'm like, how do I get a bill? We did all this. Shouldn't you have told me that this is how much you owe? Like,
Yeah,
where
but
is
the
it?
funny thing is, like the bills, I can't decipher.
And they don't even
Right.
know.
Like,
It's
you
a
know,
bureaucracy
you can't even
thing.
understand it. Do I have to pay this or not? It's like at the
Yeah.
end, it's like this
Oh.
much went to this, 10% to this to this, and I never even know. It's like, is it really a bill?
Oh no,
or is it just like,
those two. But mine usually
Yeah.
say pay this.
yeah,
but I'm
no,
saying, like,
I mean, I've gotten straight up bills, but I
like,
mean, why
how's
do I
that?
need 4 pages, man?
Everything's a
You know,
secret.
it's-
Everything's a secret.
It's like we talked about with simplifying the taxes, right?
Yeah.
You know, can't they simplify
No.
the insurance
but
process?
insurance is the same
and just
way.
simply
I think, yeah.
they
say-
want to keep you dumb.
They
They
want to
wanna
keep you
keep
dumb.
you
and
They want to keep
confused.
dumb. They win. They beat you if you're dumb.
And I think they give you all of this like
Smoke and mirrors.
menial thing, like
Smoke and
this
mirrors.
stuff to do
That's it.
constantly.
It is the worst
That
when
just
you
you get so fed
No,
up with it
even-
that you kind of just give up and you're like, whatever, another piece of paperwork,
Every
Yeah.
year,
and you forget about it. And
every
it's
year
annoying.
when you're knowing your medical coverage, you got to
Mm-hmm.
go through this process. And granted, it's not a paper thing, but it's an electronic thing.
Still,
But you got to go
Still.
through and answer every question again and say this instead of, is everything the same? Very
Mm-hmm.
simple. Is
Yeah.
everything the same? Yes. Right? And I don't get it.
I-
I just don't understand.
You say the electronic one. What about I don't maybe this is just me, but when you have the ones where you fill out the pre-check before you go, like to save time, you
Yeah,
fill it
yeah,
out
yeah.
all online.
You do
But
it
then
all
you
online,
go
and then
there
you go- they
and they
still
still
hand you
give
a
you the
clipboard.
paperwork. I'm like,
what
what?
was the point of all that?
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, everything's in a portal. Fill it out.
Yeah.
Do this. Do that. Electronically sign this, and then you go there and you get a clipboard with 5 pieces of paper on it. You know,
I mean,
like
think
they should
about-
have
I
printed
think-
something out.
I
with
think-
everything,
wait,
and just,
I-
if they need your signature,
I think
sign it.
I just figured out why they give you that paperwork. I did. I think
Just
it.
now.
I just now. I don't know.
Good time. It's
Maybe
good time
because
for it.
maybe because I'm just frustrated when there. I never really thought about it. But maybe they do it because look, doctors book like 10 appointments for the same half hour, right?
Mhm.
If they give you paperwork, you're not like thinking about how long you're there. So it's a way to distract you from sitting there for so much longer. You have
I
to.
think about how long I'm there from the time I get in the car to go.
I think that makes it longer.
No,
I think
it
having
does.
to do that.
Right, it does. But now, if you, me, and Matt have the same appointment, the doctor's seeing you. Me and Matt are sitting there going, "When are we getting seen?"
When are we getting
tick,
seen?
tick, tick, tick. But now we're filling out paperwork, so that time is being distracted from our
Yeah.
brain.
I mean, that could be
Five
in the
minutes-
doctor's office. I can
5
understand
minutes
that.
of the 40 minutes that you're waiting.
Well, yeah. Well,
By the way,
so-
I'm not going to give out his name, but I have a dentist that you never wait. You go
That's
in,
nice.
he takes you,
really?
he books his appointments. Oh man, he's perfect.
I want to go back to Little House on the Prairie
I
days.
still have to fill out paperwork.
Doctors
They would just
came to
knock
you.
your teeth out.
No, they just came to your house.
No, you tie a string to your tooth
think
and the
little-
donkey.
Yeah, I don't think Little House
Let
on the
her rip.
Prairie was like the best dentistry. You know, I don't think that was their thing. back then.
I was not, man.
Hold this stick real tight.
Unfortunately, the thought of Little House on the Prairie, because I just watched it on late night the other night, popped in as he was saying dental, but I didn't mean it for. I meant it more for medical, like when the doctor would come to your home.
Right. And it was like your uncle.
When you're
Yeah.
on the deathbed with the little bag. You had aspirins.
Can't do anything.
And I don't know what else.
Cocaine.
The heart
I think
thing.
at the time, like
Yeah, the
actual
fact that-
cocaine they would give you.
And leeches in a jar.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I don't know. I just. Oh, even the college thing. I mean, you're done with it, but you probably have to fill
Oh,
out
like the FAFSA?
every year.
Well,
That
I
was
have
the
a-
most convoluted, confusing process. I had 2 kids, and somehow the things get crossed up, and you had to have different passwords for each kid. And every year you had to fill out this form, whether you liked it or not. And you knew you weren't. We knew we weren't getting anything. You know, I don't. That's fine, but we had to fill it out anyway, right? And it was just the most arduous process. It was like 30 pages of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, college applications
same
even. You know,
questions
going
every
back
year.
to that,
So that was like, what was it for us? It was because there was 2 years of overlap, so that'd be 6 years.
changed a bit.
6 years of us filling that thing out every year for no reason. And there's no option to just say, yeah, everything's the same. That's what I'm saying. It's like you had to do it, 30 pages.
and
Yeah,
then-
there's this like weird middle bureaucracy
Yeah.
involved in all of these things that I don't understand. I mean, I'm paying student loans, and you know I have a normal banking account, and I have a credit card in that account, and you know so every month there's like a payment on the credit card. I have my student loans, and they're all in different places,
Right.
and I'm like, I don't understand how none of these companies are big enough to centralize it. You
Yeah.
know, and fine, I understand there's third party vendors and all this stuff that go between, you know, who's getting paid from where. But to me, I'm like, this is a solvable thing, I would imagine. You know what I mean? And if I was in charge of any of these institutions, I feel like it's solvable. It should all be in the same place. I shouldn't have to go track down my student loans.
Right.
Right? Like I mean, it's mine.
Right.
Right? I gotta go find them.
Yeah.
Like, don't they want it paid? But
And
they
they send
don't
you-
because
they-
they want the interest. Like, they don't
Yeah,
even
yeah.
want you to actually
yeah.
pay
And they
it.
send you
Yeah.
probably some vague paperwork that
Yeah, that has
doesn't,
nothing
you know,
on it.
that
They,
gotta go-
the portal's changed 3 times.
Yeah.
I keep
Yeah,
saying, "Oh,
yeah.
we've updated to this new, you know, re-log in, make a new password." But it can't. Even on the new system, can't be an old password you used.
Yeah.
I'm like, so how different is the system that you're keeping my passwords? Well, who are you now?
Right, right,
Knowing my
right,
old
right.
passwords, this random, you know, this random website I'm on now in my mind.
Yeah, it's just there is a lot of, and I guess it's not just physical paper. You know, in the beginning I was thinking physical paper that we fill out, but even electronically, there's a lot of stuff that we have
This is
to do
redone over and over again.
Over again. It's like why do I have to go through this? And it just makes people. I don't know if it's the fear of making a mistake on it, or just the fact, like I said, that you can't push the button and say everything's the same, nothing changed. I mean, listen, if things change in your life, then fill out the paper, right? But man, yeah, it's too much for me.
I have a question. Maybe you can help
Johnny
me
went
answer
back
it.
to his DJ voice.
I didn't. I paused. To say, I couldn't remember how I wanted to like say, it. But you, as you mentioned, the electronic fill. I can't do this now. I'm listening to myself. You guys are asses. Next, no. When you're filling out the paperwork, you know how now you don't like. Technically, you had to sign everything with your hand. Your Hancock
No, you just
makes
type
it
it.
legal. But now, like they say, your electronic signature, and then there were
Oh, it's
days
just typed in.
there were
Yeah.
days where you would drag your signature into it, but now you just type it.
Yeah.
How is that a legal thing? Like that's not my signature, and it says signature. It's not a signature. So you can go fill this out. When does that make? How is that legal?
I was never a big believer in the whole like handwriting thing anyway. Like at a certain point, I mean,
At
that
all?
mean?
It's such a vague way to say that, man. I know what you mean.
well,
big
let me put it
handwriting
this way:
guy.
in
Matt
the way
does.
that like
Matt does not write.
No pen to paper.
No.
No pen to paper over here, baby.
I mean, I like it's not about writing with pen, but about the whole like, oh, if Mike filled out my form and faked my signature, and I was like, this is my signature, they were gonna pull up all my old signatures and compare them and be like, oh yeah, that one's for. So I feel like that's like
I
they
always felt
shortened
like
that
they
because
would.
they were always
Are you
kidding
trying to say you should be good with forgery? Like you're okay with I don't.
No,
No, I think he's saying that someone
I'm
can
saying-
forge,
Say
and
no
they're
one,
not.
no one would really check
nobody
it.
really
right,
checks.
right.
I'm saying
You
I
don't
never,
think they would check ever?
No, I really.
They never did.
I don't think.
Yeah,
Like
they
but-
in high
ever
school.
check.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but you didn't have a
when you were
problem. I'm
having a
saying if
written-
someone said I didn't do that, and they're like, you signed for it. You don't think they would do
You
it?
think they just pull
It's-
up all the documents you've
I
signed?
would think they would
before?
do a signature comparison.
I think
no?
it would come
I
back
think
more
they
in
would. Well, listen, I don't know for
on
sure.
something big at least.
I know back.
no in real
you know,
like
in-
life
in real
insurance they
life-
will check. But
Yeah.
I think he's talking about
Just basic
like in
silly shit.
school,
Like
a
basic-
field trip. Get your
Well,
mom
not
to
even
sign.
just that.
Right.
Not even just that.
You know,
but
I've
like
signed
just,
though. Like it's
just
not
in-
that big a deal.
Oh.
just in.
Signed the sick notes for school.
But what I was really talking about more was restaurants. You know, they make you sign the check.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, they're never gonna. You know, I sign
Oh, like,
differently
if
every time.
somebody
You know,
else I get that.
I
Oh,
started
okay.
just scribbling at a
Mm.
certain point because like whatever.
Yeah, me
But
too.
because I know like I'm never gonna dispute this, right? Because I know I went. But I'm just saying, like, let's say somebody did like steal my credit card or something. Go to a restaurant, they sign the check.
They'll never see it.
What do you
not
think?
gonna
They're gonna
matter.
pull
But
up all my
I
old
think so.
checks?
On things that mattered back in the day, Matt.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
so you know, and it sounds like you don't fill out a lot of paperwork in your life, so good for
He
you.
hates it.
I am mostly digital with a lot of things.
And digital is not much better,
And then
as
I
we
don't.
discussed.
Oh yeah, but
But I-
signature wise.
Signature-wise, you used to have a witness sign when you're really signing stuff.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
When you bought
A witness or a
house, you
notary.
did
Right.
this, you had to get a notary to sign it, so it was witnessed. And I would assume if it was a large enough thing, they would.
They still
some
do.
Kind of
They
check.
still do witnesses.
I know there was the bank, one of the local banks I deal with. There was a signature card that they had on file, and you would always have to bring your signature card. And when you sign your stuff, they did a comparison.
Oh,
It
really?
was a sanity
Oh.
check. I mean, if
That's-
it was,
I never seen
it
that.
would have to be really way off. It wasn't like
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
going, the
So
dot.
that's what I'm
He doesn't put
talking
his
about,
dot
like-
over the I. He puts,
I had that one time in my life. I had to take a test for work, and it was the only time it's ever happened. I have my ID, my photo ID. It was taken when I was 16, and I guess my signature is also from that time. I don't know if it was that day when I was at the DMV,
Yeah.
whatever. But the signature at that time was like actually my name written in script. Now it's more scribbled.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Over
yeah.
time, you're like, I don't know what I
Lazy.
was doing. I was 16. But it never mattered. But it's actually on my ID, but it has never come up. Like, oh, whatever, second form. My signature's never asked for.
Right.
But I was going to take this test. I had to sign something that I'm here and I certify to not cheat or whatever.
Right.
The person looks at it and they're like, hey, I'm gonna need you to sign this again. It doesn't match the signature on your ID. And I was fully confused for a second because I honestly didn't even realize that there was a signature on the ID. Like I don't think about that's not what it's
Yeah.
used for, kind of thing. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, yeah, I'll sign it again. And I didn't, like an idiot. I was probably just nervous for the test, but I didn't think to ask for the ID, so I just signed it again, just differently. And the person goes, no, I'm sorry here. Like use your ID. And they said this happens a lot because a lot of people change their signatures,
Yeah.
but it has to match. I have to certify to the board or whatever that it matches.
Right.
So like just use this as a just sign it, use it as a right, whatever. Look at it, write it again. I was like, that has never happened to me before.
There you
And I
go.
mean, this is like a legit, it's like an actual
legit stuff. They check.
legit thing. But
Yeah.
I mean, I've also done there's other legit stuff in my life that I've had to sign. I think life insurance. Like I've done insurance. I'm putting a signature on. That's
Just
pretty
real
big.
quick, Michael talking about signing this 13-year-old signature. His voicemail is still from like when he first got his phone.
Really?
Yeah,
So if
it
you call,
is.
you get this little kid saying
It is. I've never updated it.
I don't think I've ever heard
the
your
voice is
voicemail.
completely different.
Yeah, I gotta do that
We'll
actually
play it
eventually.
someday.
No,
It's kind of like the signatures.
don't leave that.
I'm in 15-year detention for the
That's
for the voicemail.
that's
right now.
beautiful. I want to hear that
It's pretty
forever.
funny.
It is
Actually,
pretty funny when you hear it.
Damn.
Anyway,
I mean, not many people
paperwork-
call
listen,
anyway.
Any other paperwork things that come to mind?
I mean,
Stuff
it's
that you
just
have to fill
general.
out?
It's it's something
paperwork in
specific.
general.
It's a general thing, and like I kind of mentioned before, it's not even so much. I don't like filling out paperwork. I think it's all the same stuff.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
feel like if I've done it once, I've done it a million times.
It's
and now
definitely
with
stored.
the digital, the way everything's moved digital anyway.
Try buying a house.
I know this stuff's getting put into a computer. Well, I'd
Come out
imagine it
with
only
a-
gets
A
worse.
book full of stuff, and they just
Oh.
keep saying, "Sign here."
It's an
Sign here, write a
encyclopedia.
check. Sign
I-
here,
I-
sign
I-
here,
and
write
the
a
best-
check.
And the best is you're supposed to read all that. And who reads that? You'd be in a closing
No,
for
you're
like
not.
3 days.
That's why you hire a lawyer.
Yeah, but even that, yeah, you're saying everything you're supposed to read, and there is so much to read.
Well,
no one
yeah,
I
reads
think
Okay,
they
it.
so-
send you. I think
They
it's
purposely-
targeted. I think you get
Yeah.
a bunch of this stuff, and they're trying to beat you down.
Yeah.
One example is just passwords, right? I mean, it's sort of the same thing, but with the digital aspect of it, right? Is you don't need a different password for everything you sign into, but it's recommended,
Right.
Yeah.
right? I typically, nobody knows the password.
What's
I
your
use, so
password?
whatever, right? But I typically use the same one.
His
'Cause-
password
'cause-
is
Well, now
Rex.
you
my
just told
thought would be,
everyone.
Yeah, I
If they
hope
find
nobody-
it, they
I
find
hope
it all.
Nobody
But
ever figures
that
out
was-
your password.
That was already gonna happen.
Wait, do you do the same username too?
No, that changes.
Liar.
Because that's easy to remember.
You're a liar.
No, but it's easy
I
to
got
find
so
your
many little
username.
things about Michael, obviously, because I know him so well. You will never figure out his passwords.
No, you'll never.
Really?
Figure it
This
out. I use a
psycho-
randomized password.
He,
But I have
creates
one.
a randomized password
And
in his
memorizes
head and
it?
memorizes it.
Wait,
I have a randomized, like
Wait,
random uppercase,
software did it?
lowercase. No, yes.
or did you create
Soft,
it?
I
No,
didn't
no,
make
he
it.
creates
no,
it
no,
in
no,
his
no.
head.
Wait,
dude.
wait. That's what I'm finding. Really?
his head.
You created yourself your randomized password. You
Yeah.
don't use software.
No.
And it's a weird one,
Wow.
like what they
Yes.
do,
It's
like,
like letters and numbers. Yeah.
Yeah,
Combine, like,
and it's
wow.
really weird.
Johnny,
Like-
you wouldn't. You would
listen,
never. It's not something in my life. It's a random.
Pretty
Right.
impressive.
It's a
No,
random
you-
thing.
and you
could
remember
never
it?
get.
It's completely
I know
random.
it, I know
It's
it.
like when Google tells you today, I'll give you this random password. It's
Right.
like that.
Really?
He did that before Google. Was
How many
doing it.
characters?
Wow.
No.
8?
Don't give it
He's
up.
not gonna get. It's
No, I'm
impossible.
not going to guess. I
No,
just
don't
want.
give it up. Don't
No,
give it
no,
I'm
no.
not giving it up. He's
He's
not
a
gonna
hacker.
get it.
Don't even tell him the numbers. and
Well, if he
nothing.
can hack it, he can hack. Like,
Seven-
if he can just hack it, I'm
Well,
done
no.
anyway.
I mean, you did help me figure out because now I know I only have to figure out 8. But the reason I'm asking is
think it's
because you're
9.
you're saying it's so random.
It is random.
And
It's
like
randomized.
like 4, 5 letters is easy, but you're saying 8, which is
I
the
think it's
standard. It
9.
should be 8 to 12,
I think it's
whatever.
9.
But that's pretty good
With
that
caps
you
and
have.
numbers.
That's pretty
Wow.
impressive that you remember
And
that.
It's a
And
fully
it has
randomized.
it has nothing to do with anything,
Nothing.
Nothing.
Not
And-
at all.
and nothing to do with itself, like within the password.
No, it's not some theme
Wow.
thing.
Because when
crazy.
That's
I
wild.
need
At
to
all.
remember a password,
Matt is all about
I'll pick
software.
something. For like passwords I don't need to know.
Right.
I have like a password manager that keeps track, so I just put random passwords, whatever. But passwords I need to know. To remember them, I'll pick something that's like I like remotely. So like people don't know me for liking, you know what I mean? But like it's just something that like I always.
So is any
had,
of
like,
those Johnny?
Something I wouldn't know. Something I
Doesn't even like you remotely.
Johnny doesn't
Remotely.
seem like me
you
remotely. Johnny 1, Johnny 2.
No, the truth is people associate us together too much for you to be able to be one of my passwords.
That's true.
But yeah, so I'll pick something remote, and then so that I know I'll remember that thing, and then I'll modify it in some way. So like
Anyway.
That's
change
what I
certain
do.
letters to numbers.
That's what I
And
do.
Well,
that makes sense. But you're saying
Yeah.
that you actually just pick random letters and numbers.
Yeah,
in
but-
in
It's
a
a
random order,
randomized-
and
it's a
you just
random
know
thing.
it.
yeah,
But-
no, but there's one of them.
But Matt, yeah, I was just gonna say,
Again,
Matt,
I
it's
said I
only one
started-
I
password.
guess
saying
so. Yeah.
I have
but-
one that I use.
Like, I have
but it is-
100
it
different
is
passwords.
a random. It's not like my birthday and my initial. You know
But,
what I mean?
even-
but
it's
off
not
of
that.
that, it's modifiable in his head.
Yeah, no,
because
I
he
changed-
could just change a thing
well,
from time to
but
time.
This is also what this is the smart part I think of how I do my passwords. Is I have I guess not linear is the wrong word, but I have a system for how I modify it because
Okay.
sometimes a lot of things will ask you to change your
Every
password
6 months or so,
periodically.
right?
Yeah.
I was gonna.
So
ask
I
that.
just use the same process so that I know within 5 failures I'll get the right one. You know what I mean? Like I always add the same thing first.
Okay.
And then it always becomes the second thing.
Ah,
You know
gotcha.
what I mean? So if I get it wrong, I'm like, I know I used this password.
Right.
So what's my second iteration of what this would be?
Okay. Wow.
And I add it.
But you're never like trying to sign into something. You're just tired, and like you just can't think of it,
Well,
and
no,
you're like,
So this is my
What's my
point. I
password?
was always scared to use those password banks.
Yeah.
Like on your laptop. Every
Right,
laptop
right,
now
right.
you can say every time you sign into anything,
Right.
yeah,
save
yeah.
this password.
Save this
I
password.
was always scared to do. I was like,
Because
there's no
somebody,
way.
somebody has
I was
it.
like, this in my
It's-
head.
it's
I'm like, the
somewhere.
second I say it, I guess they have it already.
They
It's
already
like-
have it.
Yeah.
I was
They
gonna
say-
say.
I know,
Don't-
I know.
It is
But in
something.
your
It's
head,
already
it was
out
an
there.
it's like theirs.
Yeah, it was when it first started happening. You know, 'cause I was on like the internet when that wasn't a thing. You know, there's no
Yeah.
password banks. You actually had to write down everything.
Yeah.
And I was alive for the transition. So all of a sudden one day, it pops up. You want to remember, and I'm sure the first time it was probably like it was probably PayPal or something like that. That I'm like, that seems even worse than if it was my Amazon account, or I guess
Yeah.
there's money on that
Well,
too.
yeah.
But you know what I mean?
Anyway,
Yeah.
Like whatever it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
We've strayed off into no man's land.
That-
But
Hey.
anyway, we're talking about electronic stuff anyway, and we're talking about the electronic agreements now, right? Not everybody, you get a new app or you get a new software or whatever it is,
What do you think they hide in there?
right? What is hidden in those agreements?
probably.
that we get our wish, right? There's just a button that says, "Do you
Oh,
accept
yeah.
the agreement?"
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
There's nothing to fill out. There's no questions.
Well, now they have the ones too.
What
You,
is- what
you
is
have
hidden
to
in- how
scroll.
many things are you signing
They don't let
away
you just
in life?
automatically click anymore.
gotta
You have
scroll
to
through.
scroll.
To act like you read it.
Right. But
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
you just
they
scroll.
know.
But no, I've been on one recently where I scrolled like you're supposed to, and it would still not let me click. And I'm
It had
like,
to be a
what?
certain amount
And
of
it
time.
had to be the speed, like a reading. I'm like, all right,
Nobody's reading that
again,
stuff.
I don't read well, dyslexia. So I'm like, how slow? Does it know I don't read well? Like, do I go really slow? What's an average person's reader? And I'm trying, and it's been a week. I have not been able to click this goddamn
okay.
box.
I wonder the level.
Swear to God. And I was gonna bring it up because it's
Slow
something
reader.
it's something we need to do for this podcast. So I was gonna tell Matt today, like, dude, you got to go on this site and read this because I really need to click it. That's really pissing me off. That's been a week and I couldn't click this box.
So we just sign our lives away, I guess, with that
Yeah.
stuff. So
I was gonna ask you, I was like, what do you think is the level that they can put in there, level of anything that they can put in there before that also becomes illegal? Because somebody has to know people don't really read that,
I don't know.
right? Like if they slipped in some,
I
full
think there
on,
is. I don't think
you
we'll
are
ever
now
win.
working for Amazon.
I don't
you
think
know what
they
I mean?
can
Because
know.
they could do that.
Yeah,
They-
but they're gonna say
100%,
it was in the fine
and I
print. You
agreed
didn't
to
read it.
No, I know, but I just wonder. There must be some limit
I
where
don't
like
know.
some lawyers gonna be like, absolutely, you can't put this in this sort of document. There's got to be some common sense.
I don't think
rule.
so.
I mean, what would really
It
what would
has
stop
to-
Amazon
I
from
guess
the next
all
the next
contracts-
rollouts
all-
having you work for Amazon or
Yeah.
you work for Apple now or
all
whatever?
contracts are debatable to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
even though you sign a contract, there's still people fighting over, right? The
That's like a
content
whole
of that
section of
contract
law,
at some
right?
point. So there's got to be a break point,
Yeah.
right?
And
There's
keep
gotta
in
be
mind-
That's what
something
I'm
like-
wondering.
Keep
you,
in-
you can't
Contract
like,
law.
sell your soul, right?
Keep in mind
Because
that
they could put it in there.
that-
I would
no,
I would
but-
say I
in-
accept.
don't forget that in breaking the contract, all you lose is access to that thing. So like, let's say you're signing
Well,
up.
not
for,
if you sold your
No, but
services.
yeah, if it's like
no,
your
if
firstborn
you're-
child
Right.
for a
Let's say-
month of these
no,
services, we get
but
your
don't
firstborn
forget-
child, and I
eternity,
say
you know?
okay.
no, but don't forget that this is speaking of contract. Like the whole idea of a contract is you get something, right? It's you give something, you
Yeah.
get something, right? So like
Yeah.
if you're signing up for an Amazon account and they have in it, you have to work for us for a year, and you're like, I'm not going to work for you for a year. I just won't use Amazon. Now you're not getting anything. You're not forced to work just because you agreed to the terms and conditions
No,
that
no,
said.
Matt.
I mean, if-
you're very trusting. When Mike's
Yeah,
going,
you're trying.
Mike's going
I'm
a
saying
step
they
further.
put something
They
in
put
there
something in it. You
Yeah,
have
that
to,
is intentionally
If
once-
by clicking yes, you have to work for us for a year, regardless of our services. Like something.
like something like
Yeah,
that. Like they could just put in
I'm
any
sure they
amount of
can't.
language.
That
I'm saying
sure
I
they
don't read
can't
it.
do, because
Matt, you
can
come
break-
from the world that just
I
checks the
full
box
on-
and is very trusting of
because
everything.
no, but
you
I'm
know?
saying you can break that contract, right?
Yeah, but
And then what happens to you?
but
You
Matt,
know, they
they're-
can't sue you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Well,
Matt, but that's
they
not
could
every
take his
but there are
firstborn.
contracts where the whole point of it is that you cannot break it. Like what's the thing you can't talk? What's that called?
An NDA.
An
NDA.
NDA.
The whole point of that contract is that you cannot
can't
break
break
the
it.
Right, but if
contract.
you
So-
do
breaking the contract
but
would
if you
be
if you break an NDA, you owe whatever they paid you to sign the NDA. If you
Right.
break this terms and conditions, what do you think you owe?
Yeah,
Nothing.
Matt, but
you
you're-
owe not using the
You're
service.
older
missing-
child.
you're missing the point,
you're-
Matt.
what I'm saying is you don't know everything that's
Michael
in there.
is
The last
saying
line could say
that
none of
they-
this matters.
Right, exactly.
The last line could say none of
Listen-
this is the actual agreement, and what you're actually
Matt,
agreeing to
Matt-
Right.
is to work
I-
for us
what I'm
for the
saying-
rest of your life.
What I'm saying is that like you were asking like what would be illegal like that they can't do because
Why?
because
Why?
the contract you have to get something out of
No,
it. If
no.
you
No.
didn't
No, you
get
don't.
anything.
I can
No, you
sign
don't.
anything. He could right now
I'm
make a
pretty
contract
sure-
for me, and it
I'm
can just
pretty
say
sure, I'm gonna look that up. I'm pretty sure
You
there's-
can look it up all you want, man. I'm telling
It doesn't
you right
make any
now. And I
sense.
know,
While he's looking
I
this
know
up,
because my daughter works on contracts, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And she looks at them and she says there's a lot of contracts that she sees that are one-sided.
really.
It's like
Always.
everything
People don't
from
know,
I
the-
thought
yeah.
that was
They're
like,
always
that
gonna
was
be
like a
one-sided.
legal thing. Like
No,
you had
it's because
it had to be
because
something.
people like you just go into the thing assuming that everything is rosy
Well, I
and
mean,
nice.
look, if I
And
end
yeah,
up
of
selling
course
my
they
soul
don't
to
give me the
Google,
service.
but I'm just saying.
I mean, you know a bit about like the music industry. How many people have gotten screwed over
Oh.
by
right,
bad
but
contracts that
but
they sign?
But the bad contracts is like their music ends up being worth $10 million and they get paid $500,000.
But the people know, and they're
Like,
giving them a
that's like
bad.
the-
They're saying we're
No,
not
of
giving you
course.
royalties. We're paying
of
you
course,
this.
Of course,
but the point
they're
is, Matt,
getting-
okay, but the point is, the guy signed the contract
yeah.
knowing that he's only getting 500,000. So he assumed his music was never going to be worth
Right,
more than
right.
500,000.
Right.
That's a bad deal on his
Of
part.
course it is. You could make bad deals, but he got something.
But that's
I'm
what
saying
a
you
bad-
have to
but that's
get
what a
something.
bad
But that, like,
contract is.
I'm
That's
saying you
exactly-
have to get
Right.
something out of the
But
contract.
the contract it could be for a day. You get our services for as long as you're allowed to have them.
Right. And
You breaking the contract voids it,
and you owe us a year.
and you owe
service.
us a year of servitude.
But if you
Right.
I'm saying
Like that,
if you
they could
break,
be unrelated.
if you break, I feel like if you were to break something like that contract, and let's say they for some reason decide to take you to court for breaking their contract, right?
So you're going to fight Google in court. Go
Right.
ahead.
I feel like
It's going to go real
He's gonna
well.
represent himself
I'm
too.
saying I feel like they don't have much of a leg to stand on in that case. If
No.
you're selling your firstborn child,
That's not good.
It was just
and-
hypothetical.
I know. I'm
I
just
was
saying,
I,
like,
I imagine that if they did slip in, and we're gonna buy we own your
firstborn.
firstborn child, that probably won't
probably would
actually
be.
that won't work.
be enforced. But hypothetically, I
get-
wonder what the line is.
I get what you're
'cause
saying.
They could. I sign these things.
But the other
or accept whatever. Sign the box.
The other things
all
with
the
me
time.
for contracts, like
Yeah.
what you're saying, is the double talk they talk or the words they use. It's so confusing.
It's
Like,
incredibly hard to read.
I get through like 3 lines. I don't even know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
that
anymore.
lawyer talk
It's lawyer talk.
is-
It's like it's insane.
is ridiculous.
It's
I used to work with a guy that talked like that in his regular
in
life.
regular life.
Really?
Was he a lawyer?
No, he just used those terms, like, and I'm like, what? You just
How
talk to
long
me
did
in
it tell
English?
you to say shut up?
That would
Well,
infuriate me.
Just to
He was a good guy.
I know.
No,
but
but
he's
I
not a
just
good
imagine
guy.
that like
He
Yeah.
just used those terms like
Oh my
regularly
God.
in his life, you know.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy electronic stuff versus paper. I don't know. Like I said, it should be a paperless society. There are things that we could do cleaner, I guess. Right? But I don't know.
there is. I have one. Not okay. It's still. I'd like to go paperless in this regard, but I do worry. I mentioned it before. I wonder what Matt and Johnny. I wonder what your perspective is on this. But the fully cashless society, does that scare you at all? The idea of it, right? Get the microchip in your arm kind of idea. Scan your hand under
Johnny
the.
loves it.
I was gonna
Let
say-
me
I know.
answer
I
for-
just
let me
I'm-
answer, then you can jump in. Johnny loves it.
I do.
I absolutely hate it,
I love it.
and
Scares
and
me.
I can't even imagine that. We're not going to go back to cash because now you get charged for everything when you use a credit card or a debit card. You get a fee.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead, Johnny.
Well, no. I do love it, and I love that. And we were almost there for a blip in time. It seemed like everybody was just using credit cards everywhere, and
I
now
thought he was gonna say with the vaccines.
No. But then somehow we went back to cash again, and I'm being penalized for not using cash with the 3%.
Exactly.
But I do
Because now
love.
everybody's not. Because they
Yeah.
can just charge you. It's
Right.
like we've talked about
Right.
a million
They
times.
screw you.
It's just another
I,
tax thing.
It's just another
They're
tax.
like, oh, nobody's paying with
right.
cash anymore. Fine, we
because
got a
you're
way to
using
charge
this
them.
card, right? You're earning points on the card, but they're taking
they're
3%.
They're taking 3%.
They
But
do
I
like in anything.
but I really want that. Like I rarely ever leave my house with cash, and I have like. When I say a stack, I'm not talking thousands. I'm talking like $1, 5, 10s, 20.
Right.
That kind of stack sitting on my like counter, and I walk past it. I'm like, I'm just grabbing my one credit card, and then I also have my phone, which has that all
Apple
that.
Pay and whatnot.
And it really upsets me when they're like, "Oh, we don't take credit card," or like, I want that, and I'm all down for a chip. I'm in on that.
Well, yeah.
I am. Like, if I can leave my phone at home, and then like, oh,
Crazy.
ding, love it. I'm in.
I
That's
I
think
too
can't.
far.
I
I
can't
think-
leave
yeah.
the house without cash.
I think cash. I don't use cash, and the reason I really stopped carrying cash is because I would never keep cash in my wallet anyway. Right? Wallet gets pickpocketed or whatever. You
Right,
lose
yeah,
money.
yeah.
So then I realized that now I don't have to carry cash.
You've been pickpocketed in your life.
No. But I'm just saying. I don't know. My dad always told me that. He's like, don't keep
Oh,
cash
the
in your
magician.
wallet.
Oh, the magician told you. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, he told me don't keep cash in your wallet. So I never did, and then I started to realize like why carry cash at all? Because let's say I do get like mugged, like whatever, right? All right. I mean, in New York it happens, right? Take the train. I used to take the train every day, whatever. If I give them my wallet now, they don't have really anything, right? Unless they get to a store and start running it up
Right,
in
yeah.
5 minutes,
Immediately, yeah.
I can freeze the card pretty much immediately. I mean, I guess if they take my phone, it would take a little bit longer. I'd have to find a computer, but like you get my point, like. And so I just figured, there's no reason. I don't almost never need it, and it's more of a risk to have it, even if it's like not that big of a deal, even if it's only $20 or whatever. And so there's just no point in carrying it. But the chip in your hand, I don't like. I feel like
I mean, I don't like it.
We
at
disagree.
at that
Okay.
point
What?
you're
Johnny, you're
you're
gonna be
just-
one of the only
like,
people who's good with the
you're-
chip in your
I'm
hand.
signing up.
You know what's funny? Amazon they have those stores
Yep.
where you just walk in and walk out, and you can scan your palm now.
Yeah, beautiful.
But like to me, it's like to have that much of your identity be like as a consumer. You know what I mean? To the point where like I know you buy
Matt,
stuff every day,
Matt,
and like
our,
whatever. it
our
is, but-
identity is all up there. All they're missing is the chip in my
It's-
wrist, all my
Wait,
not
listen,
all my
we could-
fingerprints.
there's a whole segment we could do on this because I saw a guy who has multiple chips. Some that work his house.
Oh
his
yeah,
house
yeah, I've
key,
seen that.
Oh yeah.
Starts
Yeah.
his
What?
motorcycle.
yeah. I've
Or
Look
seen
how,
his
that.
how
cash.
beautiful is this?
It's terrible.
It's
because,
not.
It's freaky,
I'm
man.
a big
Because
fan.
somebody,
It's
not.
freaky.
somebody grabs you, puts your wrist up against the door. They're in your house. They got access to everything.
If someone grabs me and I didn't have
We
that
could
to
do a
take my
whole
keys out of my
I
pocket.
just-
What's the
I want to
difference?
go back to Matt and the stolen wallet.
What?
Because first of all, I've never been pickpocketed in my life or attempted to be pickpocketed. As
You don't
far
know
as I
that.
know.
That's
yeah,
true.
as far as you
In-
know.
The times you're like,
in
"Where's
the
my
US,
wallet?"
But I was in Paris, and my mother almost got pickpocketed on
Yeah,
an
yeah.
escalator. I had to chase the guy. But anyway, going back to the stolen wallet, if your wallet gets stolen,
Mhm.
forget the $20. There's a mound of paperwork you're gonna have to fill out
I know.
to get your
Oh.
license,
Yeah.
get your
I
credit
know.
card,
That's true.
get your new bank card
Exactly.
again.
And it shouldn't
right?
be that hard.
Everything
It's
else
like, I
that's
got
missing.
mugged.
You know, God forbid you had any other important document in your
Yeah.
wallet for any reason. I mean, back in the day, we used to have to like travel with our Social Security card because anything you did, right?
That was
Sean
how
was
you
a lot
were.
younger than me. He probably doesn't remember this.
Yeah.
But anywhere you went, Social Security card had to be like that was a form of identification almost.
Yeah, yeah.
Really?
Definitely when you went to the DMV to get your
Yeah.
license,
Right.
you had
Yeah.
to
Yo,
show.
getting a license at DMV with all the things, like the 4 points, the 3 points, like
Oh.
things you need.
Yeah.
It is the hardest thing to.
It's insane.
I'm like, oh my gosh. Like,
Oh, it's insane.
it's look me up on the internet. You'll find me.
Yeah.
Like, you have so many protocols for this thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
back
It
back
is
in, I mean, it's much better.
Ridiculous.
1,000 times
That's-
better. now.
I actually, because you brought it up, I've lost my Social Security card, and I need it for something really weird. I need it because I don't think ever I've had to show it, and now I need it for something. So I went online to apply to get a new one. I had to give my license, the license number, my name, all that, anything else, passports, all that. I had to pay, I think it was $69. I got a phone call and an email 2 weeks later that they can't process my thing because my information is incorrect. I'm like, how's it not correct? And they're like, it's not. What do I need to do? What's wrong?
Right.
And they wouldn't tell me because I might be the person scamming it. So they wouldn't give me any information. I'm like,
Wow.
it's my license. It's my license. It's my name. It's what is wrong on them?
Yeah.
20 minutes on the phone. They would not get. I know. I'm now stuck in this forever lostness. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
You know
So I
what's-
can't get my Social Security card,
You're gonna have
and
to
I
apply
can't
for
do
a
the
new
thing.
one.
No,
New identity. You're
it's
gonna need a new
the
identity.
most insane thing in the
It would
world.
be easier to steal
It's
someone's
so,
identity.
but I gave
than just
everything. I
replace
gave
your
my
own.
ID. I gave where I was born, the hospital I was born, my mother's father's maiden name. Like, I don't know what they
Yeah.
need from me. I don't know.
You know what's
insane.
you know
That's
what's
insane.
funny
It's like
though?
how
When you
It's
can't get- when you can't
ridiculous.
get your own
You know
stuff.
what's
It's
You know what's surprisingly easy to replace? My mom at some point needed to get her birth certificate, and she was born in Boston, so we went to Boston to went to City Hall, whatever. And she said, "Oh, I think she had called or whatever," and she's like, "Oh, I'm here to get my birth certificate," and she gave her name now, like
her married name.
yeah, she
Right.
gave her married name, and they were like, "We don't have that," and she's like, "Oh yeah, right, that's my married name. Here's my birth name," and she gave it, and they were like, "Oh yeah, here you go," and gave her.
Oh, I don't think that's
she
right.
gave the wrong name first.
I don't think that's
then
right.
the right name, and then they
I think
just gave
someone
her
in
the
that.
birth
I think someone in
certificate.
that office
That
messed
is
up
so quick.
because I don't think that was legal.
Like, yeah, I'm telling you,
I
it's
didn't know your
surprisingly
mother was
easy to
born in
get your.
Boston.
I didn't know that
yeah,
either.
She was born in
I'm
Boston,
taken
yeah.
aback a little bit by that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she lived in Boston for a little bit. Yeah.
Really?
Mm.
That's
That's
interesting.
that's all those years, huh? Find
I know
something
her-
out.
I know her a very long time. I know she was.
There you go.
She's hiding that. She was embarrassed for some reason. I think.
Because
would
they
be.
just give out birth certificates like they're playing
It's pretty
cards,
easy
you know?
to be born in Boston. Apparently,
Anybody,
I like-
So
I
maybe-
could go
really
there
like
and be born.
Boston.
You know,
So maybe
I like
clerical
I
work.
like Boston too, but
It's
I'm
actually
just
really
saying
nice.
it's surprisingly easy to get your birth certificate. So I don't know.
Not a
Like,
Social
Maybe the whole
Security
state in
card. Yeah,
general
your
is
Social
better for
Security
like
card.
paperwork clerical
I don't
things.
know, maybe
that's
we should move out there. and
maybe
find
that's where we
out.
should live.
Yeah.
I'll think about
Yeah.
it. I'll
The
think
problem
about
is going there for me still wouldn't help because I need the information
You
that's
need
not in
the
Boston,
information.
and they won't give it to me.
it. You're done.
I'm
You're
done.
That's terrible.
No,
man,
I
if
get
you
worried,
this-
to your wallet getting pickpocketed or the chip, whatever. Is my biggest fear. I know this is sort of a conspiracy theory, but I worry like they could turn it off. I mean, you even mentioned right, they steal your wallet. You can just freeze that card in
Right.
5 minutes. I'm like, so the card's freezable in 5 minutes, whether it's me or not.
Yeah.
The card is freezable.
Right.
Cash is cash in my pocket. Somebody's
right.
gonna take it.
Right.
I mean, how there's not much you can do to stop like me from just actually spending $20 on food. On any random
Yeah.
day.
Right.
But like, I could easily my card could get turned off tomorrow.
Right.
I mean, I'd imagine you could even.
You're saying the guy that stole your wallet turned your card off?
No. Not
No,
if I.
just in
I'm
general.
saying to him
Saying-
losing his wallet, he's
Yeah,
worried.
yeah.
He's saying with my wallet, if I don't have any cash and my wallet gets stolen, I just freeze the card.
Freeze the card.
I didn't actually lose
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
other than my ID. That's annoying. I got to get
Right,
back, and I mean the card itself, but
Right.
no
Well,
cash.
debit
You're
cards
not
are pretty
losing
easy.
money.
Debit cards are pretty like through the app.
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
generally
relatively.
order them right.
I-
away.
I
and
just
only
don't have
some,
their
check anything.
only some. They don't all do it,
Well, I
which
don't
is
know,
so
my bank,
stupid.
My bank does it fine.
I have
I
like three
mean,
that do it. A lot of them don't. Like,
Yeah.
log in, press freeze, done. And a
Yeah.
lot of them have you
Well,
have
that's
to
what I mean.
cancel them.
and
They're
then you
just
could cancel,
freezable.
but you could just cancel it and order it right away. Like you don't really have to.
I
fill
know, but I don't know
anything.
why they all don't have the freeze feature.
But what is your concern? I missed what you were saying.
Just that once you go fully cashless,
It-
everything I own is freezable
Oh,
by
right,
some
Oh,
by some governing
Well,
body that
for
I
the
don't
record-
know.
Oh, Okay,
Gotcha.
so
For
Michael's
the
going
record-
with
Yeah, I'm
full
saying I know it's a big conspiracy
conspiracy
theory.
He's going
For the
Big Brother
record,
type thing.
I
Yeah,
keep
Big Brother.
cash.
Yeah.
That
I
worries me
keep
though. That
cash.
seems more and more. But the closer we get to it,
It's
it's a
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
Like it changes in a day. You know,
Yeah.
it's not a
Right.
problem.
And then
It's
it
not a
is.
problem. It's not a problem
becomes a
until
problem.
it all of a sudden is. There's no gradual change. There's like, oh, we can't just turn. You know, it'll be some law that's buried in a bill
Yeah,
in
yeah.
10
I
years.
have- I
That
have
we can't just turn
something-
your thing off if we suspect you of anything.
Yeah, yeah.
There's something that, and this really makes me upset too. I love leasing cars, right? I like a new car every couple of years, and I just read somewhere in Ford, and maybe I was sleeping when I read this because it's almost insane that it could be true. So Ford now is putting out new things. You know how some cars like BMW is charging you for like the heated seats
Yeah.
and stuff like that, or for
Ridiculous.
Apple.
That's crazy.
Ford now is doing things where they're pushing out, like if you lease a car or you finance it, if you don't pay it, they're going to have chips in the car that
Shut
will
off
take,
Shut off.
no, will drive it to like the nearest police
Oh,
station.
I think
That's
I've seen
awesome.
that.
Like-
I think I've seen that. Yeah,
like-
So it's not that conspiracy. That's not that
It's not
crazy. Then.
conspiracy.
I'm thinking they'll
It's
turn off your
happening.
car.
That's
It's
why.
happening.
That's why I said it, because they're doing all that
Wow.
on top. But then again,
Yeah.
the same. That's insane.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
It's like
Imagine
Terminator.
like you
stuff.
miss your car payment,
It
like
just locks,
whatever.
locks you in, drives you to the police station.
I mean, I
It
think
probably
we
knows
could,
when someone's on the seat first, and when they get off, they
Locks
lock
you
the
in.
doors and drives away.
I think we could do a whole episode on ownership. You know, because we were
It's
starting
crazy.
to lose,
Ownership
especially
rights
like
and
with that
whatnot.
BMW
We're gonna
thing.
have to go
with the
back.
heat.
Oh, BMW, the seats,
losing a
the
lot.
the air condition, everything. It's wild.
Yeah. At some point, we're gonna have to go back to gold. Just gold as the-
Reestablish the gold.
They're just going to
standard.
ruin
Yeah.
that market somehow. They'll find a way with
But
that.
I mean, it's finite. At least
Yeah,
it
but
makes
it's
sense.
finite,
That
yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense
I
to me.
love
At
the
least
gold thing.
this thing. Wait, you do love the gold.
No, I do. No, I
Oh,
love.
oh.
I
I
love
thought you were
the.
saying-
No, I love the
You
day.
sounded negative
No,
about
no,
it.
no. I love when our money matched the gold. Like
Yeah, I mean, it
now,
makes
Gold
sense to
standard,
me.
yeah.
now,
Yeah, no,
now
that
it's
makes
kinda
sense.
like-
now it's just made up.
Yeah,
It's
fractional reserve banking and whatnot. Who
Yeah,
cares?
And
yeah.
gold still
Somebody
has a
has all the
value.
gold.
In some
Which
regard,
is
yeah,
like-
you can still buy it.
Yeah, like
You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, I think we went off a little, but it's okay. It was a good conversation. I think paperwork, clearly, we don't like paperwork. However, the electronic documents and the one-click signing, you could be signing your life away for all we know.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
I guess it's a love-hate relationship that we're gonna have to have with paper for a little while to come.
yeah,
Anyway,
that's a good perspective. You know, that like we were sitting here complaining about filling out paperwork, and now it's like well, those ones that don't give you anything to fill out.
it's true.
you don't
And
even
you
read it.
just sign your life
So
away.
yeah, it's true.
But anyway, it's a good conversation. Hope everybody enjoyed that. I think we're gonna do this week, and we're gonna try going forward. Maybe get people to know us a little bit better. We're gonna do just a quick segment on something each of us hated about. Well, not even just someone hated about someone else.
Hated strong.
on-
Hated
Angry.
strong.
Was angry about.
Angry
Yeah,
at-
what
angry
made
at-
angry about.
What made us angry about
It
one
better
of
not
us?
be me now.
in the
What
week?
made us angry about one of us? I
During
guess
the week,
maybe
yeah.
We don't know what this
God.
segment will be called yet, but maybe that's a good one.
What's my
So,
gripe?
I'm trying to think what I don't know. I guess I'll
I don't know, I didn't
I'll
have
lead
one.
off this week.
All right.
You don't
Yeah?
have a gripe with anybody this week?
No.
Matt, you have a gripe with
Well, I
anybody?
said I
this
wasn't really angry this week. This
week? Matt
was
had a gripe. This week.
Mike
I'm
had-
not going to bring it up.
Don't ask. I'm always angry about everything, to everybody. So
All right, so I actually had two gripes this week, but
Two?
I'm just going to pick Johnny because he's next to me.
oh, this is bullshit.
No, it's not bullshit.
I thought you were picking on Matt. Matt,
Ah, that's
you,
why.
I know
you
it.
seem
I-
so
I
mad
did
at
a-
that.
I did a
because when
switch
he
up
came
on
up
you.
with the segment, he was like, "Oh yeah, perfect. He's gonna talk about Matt.
Because
And now
he-
he's about you, and now you're
And now-
now you're
Because he's-
double guessing the
because he's
segment.
been
Now
bitching
you're
about you
not
in the
sure.
text forever, and now he
Right.
goes, "Oh man."
I'm,
Whoa.
I want
I'm
to hear this stuff.
I'm going to put Matt's thing to bed
Anyway,
Next
thank you
week-
for
next-
tuning in. It was
Next week,
What's happening, y'all?
I'm going to pay Matt $1, and then he can't ever say
Oh
to me
my
again, I don't get
gosh.
paid for this job.
Yeah.
So I'll put that one to bed next week.
okay.
Anyway, so all week I've been trying to do things, my due diligence, trying to get stuff out on social media to get people to know us. And, I thought I was doing a decent job considering the handicaps that I have with you guys. But last night, I guess it was last night or the night before, I sent something out, and I separated YouTube,
That's
And-
funny because that is such a little thing,
right? And I've been doing it right all along, and I guess I put
little
a space. And Johnny, within 30 seconds, called me out on it. It was just messed up, man. It was messed up. You do 100 things right, and you get called out for the one thing you do wrong.
I
I just
saw it,
wanted
it
to get that
was
off my
funny.
chest, man.
I had a good laugh about it.
Wait,
Actually,
Because
did.
I went to
I
Instagram
had a
and
good
looked
laugh
at it
about
too.
it, too.
I was
See?
like, what?
Coming from,
I was kind of
mean,
confused by it. I was like,
I mean, listen,
all right.
I'm telling you right now, Johnny's texts are gonna be, they're gonna be scrutinized from now on because I don't know if you guys read Johnny's texts.
Oh, they're horrible.
You have to know shorthand.
You do.
I
to
also,
understand what Johnny's
what
talking-
makes it one
he
word?
doesn't use.
Because it's separated by a hyphen in there.
No,
No, it's not.
Isn't YouTube separated by a
No,
hyphen?
it's
Was it
one
never?
word.
No.
It's never
Oh, It's
been.
like a
Maybe
Mandela
it's a
effect thing.
Mandela effect.
Man,
I could have sworn. I
No.
thought it was U-2.
no.
Never.
Wow.
Never.
Johnny doesn't use he doesn't use any kind of, what do you call those things? Apostrophes.
I don't use any
Oh,
punctuation.
Punctuation.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
punctuation.
I'm going to get back to the why you shouldn't be angry at me. But going back, I have struggled so hard to make my sentences, whatever I
doing very
write, look almost eligible to read because it's all over the place. Like you said, I've only learned where commas go, and like I speak, it's horrible. It's horrible.
I'm bad with grammar too.
Being
but-
dyslexic makes it 10
You are
times
not
worse.
bad with grammar.
yeah, I don't know
Yeah,
where to put
think you're
commas.
bad. You
Really?
speak-
No.
No, I
When
speak fine and I.
Speak fine.
Well, when
My
you,
writing's
when
not.
you speak, it's
But
like
you don't
when
use
you
Yeah, when you
punctuation when you're
pause.
When you
speaking.
When you
pause.
pause.
Yeah, yeah,
But I
but
be
I
putting
get
commas
that-
everywhere then because I pause like crazy.
Yeah, but,
Comma.
but that's like a feeling. Like
No,
talking is like
Some
a
of Johnny's
feeling.
That would be
sentences,
a-
I'm like,
that would be a
I'm like, who
period.
wrote this?
Yeah, no,
Like,
exactly.
really.
But back to the subject
little guy-
of
back
you
to the
being
subject.
mad
Guy
at
controlling
me,
Johnny in his head.
Not mad.
angry, upset,
angry.
whatever.
I'm angry. I'm not mad.
I give you
And I don't
so
hate
many
you.
props before I gave you that dig.
You
I
did.
I
and
go.
then, and then
I'm like,
boom.
yeah. I
What
got
was that?
No, but in his defense, it does seem like you were complimenting him, waiting for like
Waiting
the,
for something to
the
go
one
wrong.
thing that goes because it is
wasn't.
such a little thing.
I'm like,
you were like,
I'm like,
waiting
Mike,
for, like,
great
the tiny
post.
thing,
Mike,
like-
great is good enough to post. Mike, great video. Mike, great this. And then I just said, yo, you spelled YouTube without the space. Because he did. It looked wrong.
Which is funny because anything else you can't read. You know,
No,
the
I
one thing
I
that
can
you, like,
I can
read
see
it and you were
spaces.
like,
I can see spaces.
That's good.
I got it.
I guess you can see space.
That's it.
Next week, I'm gonna have a giant billboard of one of Johnny's sentences.
Oh my god.
And we're gonna ask people to write in
So-
and explain what it says.
So wait,
Trying
all-
to decipher it.
I think I told the story, but I'm going to tell the story one more time. Especially, I think you heard. So, the last job I was at, right? There was a problem with the mother of this company. She was very intelligent. I guess she spoke like 8 different languages. She was from India, so maybe like all the languages she spoke, even though she spoke English. And I know it's like when you write it, it's a lot different than speaking it. But I used to get emails from her, and they were run-on sentences, no periods, no commas, no breaks, no nothing, for like 200-300 words. And I am not able to figure that
Ask
out.
Johnny to edit
I
that.
I can't figure this out ever. So before I left this company, we parted ways. The son, the CEO, literally told me like my email to his mother were too aggressive. The way I was trying to tell her to do things, and I use Grammarly. I use a lot of things to make sure my sentence, all my things are right. And I had other people read this after. Everybody's like, no, it's not aggressive. It was like pinpoint technology based way I spoke it. So we had this argument on the phone, and I laid in. I was like, and I said exact word, like, your mother may be intelligent. She speaks 8 languages, but your mother's effing, like, horribly, what word I use?
Illiterate?
Illiterate. Thank you. Couldn't get that word in my brain.
Funny word to forget.
Well, in my head. So I said illiterate. And, like, coming from me, that's pretty bad. That's bad. Because I am illiterate.
you pretty much are.
I am.
I'm trying to think.
Practically illiterate.
I'm trying to think like you write like something, but I'm not just coming.
Like a 3-year-old.
Yeah, I guess maybe not even.
I haven't noticed. I'll start reading them differently, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Well,
You know what I love
because
about
I
Johnny?
skim.
You probably
You
just
know what
add to
I
it.
love
You
about
probably
Johnny?
just add
To
'cause you
defend your
kinda
CEO
know.
a second about your aggression,
Yeah.
because of your lack of punctuation, every question you ask
Right.
seems so intense. Like so
A
intense.
dill.
Like you'll be like, you know, you'd ask me if I'm free for a call, and instead of saying like you free, you'll be like, you free?
Yeah.
Like nothing, like no question. And
I'm
it's
right
like,
to it.
seems so aggressive, and like you don't
that
like
was,
you never
uh,
say do or
that was,
what. Like you cut that out, and you
No,
cut
wait,
out
I
the.
should have pulled up the text.
I don't-
I should have hit you with a sentence.
I-
Because there's some things out there, man. I'm like, I know I'm in the conversation.
It's
and all
always
that
next
stuff.
week.
I'm like, I don't know what Johnny's talking about anymore. I'm totally lost. The sentence went completely. It just, I was in the whole conversation, I should know what's going on, but this last sentence got me.
That's what he said.
I'm getting better though. Not that I'm getting better because I'm never going to get better, right? But now that you can
Use your voice.
and use my voice in that, and now if you use your voice, Siri friggin' puts the punctuation. I
Yeah.
love it.
That's nice.
I love
Yeah.
it.
That's
So
good.
it does do it.
Kind of scary because
kinda
now it
scary.
sounds like you're talking that way. Now I'm even more worried about you. It's like he's having a stroke. That's what it is. It's like he's having a stroke. That's what comes to mind, you know. And it's like he's starting to slur.
So wait.
His text is starting to slur somehow. He's
I'm
missing-
Yeah.
I'm so bad at reading, and I'm sorry. I'm gonna keep saying dyslexia for anyone who tunes in later and just thinks I'm just stupid. But like Lee gives me books to read to my baby, and they're the infant books, right? And I literally read like the
This is gonna
cat?
happen in life.
the cat ran up the tree, and she's like, all right, enough. I'm sorry, I tried. I tried.
Oh man. Anyway,
From a baby.
good stuff, everybody. Good stuff. Next week, Johnny gets to hit somebody. So we'll see.
Physically,
No, we don't do any physical.
I know what
hitting
Johnny's
on the
doing all
show.
week.
I'm looking for stuff. I'm like,
Johnny's gonna be. Looking
I know what
for-
Johnny's
mic.
doing all week.
I'm gonna have to be perfect.
gonna be-
I'm gonna have to be spot on. You can't bring up anything from here back. You can only go from
from
here
today
forward.
on. Oh, that's fair.
That
That's
makes
fair.
sense. I like
That's
that.
fair.
Yeah,
I'm a,
right? It-
that's,
it can only be the previous week's.
that's a
stuff.
fair rule.
Anyway, everybody, thanks for listening. We hope you guys enjoyed the show. We try and keep it as lighthearted as possible, get as much entertainment in as we can, and enjoy the show. And as always,
Stay angry.